The next day, I had a class, and it was
Class for which student?
they were a mixture, but most
Okay.
of them were engineering students.
Engineering student.
And so
In which college?
it's in CGC
Oh,
in
I
Mohali.
got. I got.
Yeah, so I had a class with them. I was talking to them, and we played a little game. They were little. At first, they weren't talking, but then they were just talking. And we played a little game, and they were asking me questions. And when it was finished, I had to go somewhere else. But they were all like coming, asking questions. But like I said, I've been an immigration attorney for over 23 years. But I love teaching. I love teaching in the classroom with young people because they're our future.
What's the feeling of energy over there when you're teaching to them?
So I'll tell you. So I'm there on the stage on a podium.
Okay.
And I'm presenting. I'm talking about mobility.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how to move and how to make your dreams come true and opportunities. Okay. I'm doing this, and I asked the young people. I said, "Who's here from Mohali? Okay. Raise your hand." No one raised their hand. Who's from Mumbai? No one raised their hand. Who's from Delhi? No one raised their hand. And I said, okay. And I said, I'm from California. And then I left the podium and I went down in front, and they gave me a microphone. And so I said, you guys, I came here because I want to help you to kind of understand what you're doing in the career. And I want you guys to share with me what you want to do so I can help you. We can have a conversation on how to do that. So I started to walk closer and closer, and there's this young man, kind of reminds me of my son. He was sitting there, and the closer I got, his eyes just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Oh. And so I said, hold this. So I gave him the mic, and he was like shaking. And I said, what's your name? And he told me his name. He says, this is my name, sir. And I said, I can't hear you. And so he says, this is my name, sir. And so as he was saying his name, I was backing further away. Oh. And I said, hold the mic with both hands. So he held the mic with both hands, and he said it again. I said, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I said, I'm old. I can't hear you. I said, just hold it there. And he said his name. Now he's getting frustrated. He said, this is my name, sir. And so I said, oh, great. I said, how old are you? Oh, I'm 20, sir. What are you studying? He said he was studying, I think, some engineering program. I said, this is great. That wasn't so hard, was it? Yeah. He says, no, sir. And I said, I have a hard question for you right now. He says, oh, what? He says, I said, what's your favorite number? And he says, sir? I said, what's your favorite number? He says, 7, sir. And I said, great. Pass the mic 7 down. So he took the mic and he passed it 7 down. Okay. So randomly another person got the mic. And so I would go through the audience asking them questions about what they're studying, what do they want to do, how old they were, where they're from. And then I was showing them how you do that, what the visas are. And then at the end of every question, I would ask them, what's your favorite number? Or when's your birthday? And so they would just pass the mic randomly to different people. Then they started to get excited. Yeah. They started to participate. Then they were raising their hands. And the professor said, we can never get them to speak. But then after it, we had such a great time. These kids, these young people, they have such great ideals. They got a chance to speak.
So what is the idea behind all this activity, you think?
The same thing I said, you asked me a question earlier, like, what do people need to do to be successful with their visas? Yeah. It's about talking. Yeah. It's about, I consider myself a spiritual person. And what we are all gifted with is the ability to kind of wake up and enjoy what's been given to us. The sun, our families, and we all wake up with a dream. Yeah. So all I was asking these young people to do is like, whatever you're dreaming, just to put it into motion, manifest it, take the necessary actions. Yeah. It doesn't have to be right. Just take those next steps. Do you believe in
the manifestation?
100%.
Great.
100%. We all, the gift that we have every day we wake up with a new dream. Yeah. Just not all of them, but some days just write them down. Write them down and just take that next step. Yeah. So that's what I was really trying to, that was my purpose. My purpose was just share your dreams, write them down and take that next step. And the first step is just to write it down. The second step is just to have a conversation or just to say it out loud. And so for these companies or students or people looking for investment money and they want to do this, just manifest that.
Yeah.
Consult, talk, speak. Don't make it an afterthought. And so I think a lot of people in the immigration space, they run into complications when they make the immigration part an afterthought and we're not having these conversations.
Yeah.
And I can invite people to have conversations. I invite people to talk to me because then we can say, hey, I can say, hey, that's a great idea. You need to do A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Or I suggest you do this. So it's just really about what we're doing right now, talking.